Good afternoon, June 4th. I thought that I would give you a little tour of the irrigation system today. If I didn't show you, you wouldn't believe it. Come with me. Well, you can see the orchard and the asparagus. You watched us pick that before. But I wanted to show you the irrigation. What you're looking at is the head assembly, which is the controlling unit where we put fertilizer in the line, which is 20-20-20. Basically, we mix our own Miracle-Gro. But that is fed from the house. Over here, there's two lines that come out of the house. One comes from the spigot, and that one actually feeds the high tunnels. And there's another line that hooks right to the pump on the far side of the house in the basement, and that feeds our fields. So this has two lines going into it. There's a timer on it that we use to activate the whole system. When the system's activated, there's a series of 8 different timers throughout the property that kick on at different times. One actually irrigates the whole orchard. Every tree has a ring around it. And the asparagus all have drip line installed, along with our rhubarb plants. All drip line irrigation. Usually we run it about every other day for 2 to 3 hours. Each zone gets every other day 2 hours to 3 hours. So at this point, it's about 100 foot from the pump. So I'll take you out to the fields and show you how far we pump water just with our standard well. And it waters, I believe, 9 rows of vegetables. We just put seeds in here 3 days ago. That's zucchini, peppers, cabbage, and tomatoes. On the far end, it's green beans. We use biodegradable mulch, and again, that's irrigated every other day. And that's just one zone up to the last 6 rows. I had to break that into another zone. So this is field 3. We'll continue on. At this point, that main line is 950 foot long, plus 200 to the end. And I'm doing something kind of unheard of. I plant my corn 6 inches apart, double row, 8 inches apart. That allows me economically to run a drip line down 2 rows. So each row drip line does 2 rows of corn. I've already fertilized it today with 7 pounds of 20-20-20 and injected that. And as you can see, my corn, both sides are getting irrigated. Now if I dig in here, you'll see that it's moist. So it travels out underground into that root zone. And this has about an hour and a half water right now. And we'll keep it going probably for another hour until these circles meet. Once those meet, you've got enough water. Now the drip line that I'm using is 0.002 gallons per minute per foot. So easy math, I'm running out here 950 foot away from the pump about 4.5 to 5 gallons of water a minute, which is getting applied to the crops. That's crazy. I love it when a plan comes together. But what it allows us to do is we only fertilize that strip and that strip, not the space between it. We don't have any wash away. It doesn't evaporate like solid fertilizer. And you're not broadcasting it. With the prices of fertilizer, we had to go back to the old way of doing it. For the price of the drip tape, to be honest with you, we've already had to do repairs before we even got it running from deer. I don't know what draws the deer to the drip tape, but there's hoof marks in it, and obviously when it's on top of the soil like that, it's subject to rips, tears, punctures, but it is working. I mean, when you design it on paper in January, the math might be right, but I was really struggling trying to get it to work, and I found out actually that it was something pretty simple. I had a timer there, and the timer was not working correctly and was inhibiting the flow. Once I just put a valve on that one, which I will replace with a timer, it just worked fine. In the hot sun, it's still doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Well, this is Todd, Brown Farms, Very Good Life, and we're going to have sweet corn this year, if it continues this way. We'll do some more planting, we're going to lay some more mulch, and we're going to seed this out probably next week, which is kind of late, but it is pumpkins, squash, and watermelon. Watermelon is really getting late. We got to get moving on that. That'll be the first thing we plant. But once you put your mulch down and you run irrigation for about 3 hours just to saturate the ground, it won't evaporate, and then you can maintain it out here this far away with just a couple hours every other day. Of course, on top of the ground, you know, if it rains, we won't obviously irrigate at all. But when it's under the mulch, you've got to be a little bit more scheduled. Rain doesn't get into the holes that we're going to be putting into it. So this will all be planted next week. Thanks for coming along.